Was the court last week found that decision to deploy police officers as part of a security support mission to Haiti to be illegal, unconstitutional, saying that the National Security Council cannot deploy the National Police Service outside the country. Let's listen to what some of the speakers there said in regards to this decision.
The act of deploying police officers to Haiti is unconstitutional, illegal and void, that police officers cannot be deployed outside Kenya, and sections 107, 108 and 109 of the National Police Service Act are constitutionally invalid, among other reliefs.
They can't send police forces because it's against our constitution, it's against the law. They can only send the Kenya National Defense Forces, which is the Kenya Army, the Air Force and the Navy. That's what they are mandated under our Kenyan constitution and under the law.
The court has emphasized that if any deployment is to happen, then it has to respect section 107, 108 and 109 of the National Police Service Act.
All right, that's a finding that some sections of the National Police Service Act are unconstitutional. And Senator Olekina and Honorable Kenan, your mics are hot. Honorable Koech, talk to me, because I remember when this conversation was hot, we were speaking with you in studio, and you really supported that idea to go to Haiti to an extent that a motion was passed allowing the Kenya Police Service, the National Police Service, to be sent out there. So what then? And what does this say about the Kenya Kwanza administration, that a lot of decisions are being found unconstitutional, despite various debates that have been held in the country, including on the Take That.
That's why I said earlier, we should not say when courts make certain rulings that do not favor the administration. No one has won. It's actually the people of Kenya who have won.
Yep.
But at the same time, we have a right to appeal. For instance, the case of Haiti, I personally was involved, first of all, as a committee. And the interpretation of the judge is extremely restrictive, because it was to find out if police is a force or a service. I'm struggling to understand if, for instance, the anti-stock theft unit, what will you call it, a service or a force? I mean, there's use of...
Come on, bro, don't do that. Don't do that, seriously.
There's use of weapons, there's use of arms. This is not the first mission that this country has done. As we are talking now, we have more than 1,000 police officers out there in Somali. We have some in Southern Sudan, our police officers. So to say that you cannot have police go for this mission, in my own view, respectful view, was totally not being fair to this administration. And I think, like the president did say, this is something that is going to be appealed. We need our officers to go out. Kenya is going to miss a golden opportunity to showcase its other side of being a peace anchor in the region. And those are semantics. I mean, the words, really, it's the use of whether it's a force or a service, to me, are just semantics. I think that is where the judge observed, and that is actually what was his ruling. So for me, I think the Attorney General should very quickly appeal this case, and I am still of the opinion that...
So let me ask you this. In deploying the police to Haiti, what constitutional provision was the government looking at?
Can I answer that? You say, Police Act of 107, 108.
I'm asking?
Yes.
What provision of the Constitution?
Let me ask.
It's the normal deployment that is done. It's the normal constitutional provision that is used.
Which one?
I said Police Act 108 and 1.
Constitution, not the Act.
Is Article, it will be Article 43, if I'm not wrong.
Can I ask?
204. Sorry, yeah, Article 204.
Okay, let's take a look at
Article 204, sorry.
What it says. There is established an equalization fund.
Let me assist. Let me assist.
Is it not 204?
Let me assist, because let me assist.
240, not 240.
Let me assist. Let me assist in this.
Honorable Kenan.
First, there's a general principle in law called reasonableness of judicial decisions. Reasonableness of judicial decisions, because judicial decisions are meant for human beings to understand, appreciate, and implement. And that is why in the minds of the framers of the current constitution, we have suppression of institutional roles, and that's why judges enjoy security of tenure. That being the case, I've gone through this particular ruling, and there's something that really I'm not in a position actually to understand. The decision alludes to reciprocal arrangement between Kenya and Haiti. When you define reciprocal arrangement against the constitutional provision, and I will read this, and I want you to understand, because this is something very important. Article 238. Get Article 238. And you align it with that particular decision, and you realize where the mistake is, outright actually mistake on that particular ruling which cannot be implemented. Principles of national security, Article 238. National security is the protection against, you read all this, external threats to Kenya territorial integrity and sovereignty. That is one. Number two, it says national security of Kenya shall be promoted and guaranteed in accordance with the following principles. You got that. That is what establishes the national security. Go to 239. National security organ. That's why you will find that particular ruling is completely out of order. The national security organs. It says, one is Kenya Defence Forces. Number two, National Intelligence Service. Number three, National Police Service. Go ahead. The primary object of national security organs and security system is to promote and guarantee national security in accordance with the principles mentioned in Article 238. Then you continue. Then go to establishment of National Security Council again. Article 240.
Yes.
Sorry, Article 240. They established National Security Council. And this particular ruling says National Security Council, I'm coming back to this, says National Security Council lacks the authority to send police officers. It's one of the rulings, It's one of the components actually of the ruling outside this country. And you compare with this. National Security Council, Article 240, they established a National Security Council.
So, Honorable Kenan, the same question as Honorable Koech.
I'm coming to this. I'm building a case. I want to just
I just want you to expedite it, because the question is, what provision of whatever you're reading gives the National Security Council the power to deploy the national police?
I'm coming to that. You see, I've taken you through 238, 239, and 240. 240 establishes now the National Security Council, and that is the import. To comprise of the President, Deputy President, the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Defense, the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Foreign Affairs, the Attorney General, the Kenya Defense Forces, the Director General of National Intelligence, and the Inspector General of Kenya Police Service. Now it says, the council shall exercise of its powers control the national security organs. Then it says integrate this, and then assess this. The council shall, look at the last part. The council may, 7, the council shall report annually to the parliament on the state of security.
Let me help.
Just 1 minute.
Sorry,
8, I'm coming to that particular point so that you see it.
Let's get to it quickly.
8 says the council may, it's not even mandatory, may with the approval of Parliament deploy national forces outside Kenya.
National forces.
And what constitutes the national forces?
I am coming. We'll explain that.
Please, let's not reduce this into a shout. The national forces have already been contemplated under Article 239 is Kenya Defence Forces, the Intelligence Service.
Those are organs.
No, organs. I want you to listen. We have an interpretational problem. Maybe unless I don't understand.
Let me help.
Don't.
Yes,
with the approval of, may be deployed with the approval of Parliament. There is, this organ made a decision. I want to understand this.
I'm hearing you, and I'm helping you here.
No, don't help me on this. I want you to understand what I want to say. I don't need any help. Leave me alone to explain this. I understand this.
Is it to interpret?
Luckily, I introduced
forces is the same as national security.
It depends on that. In my understanding and what has been contemplated under this, it is the same. And I want you to look at reciprocal arrangement. Why I have a problem with both the letter and the spirit of that particular ruling, and why it will not stand the test of time, and I can bet it will be thrown out. It doesn't make any sense at all. Reciprocal arrangement, meaning somebody is cast in doubt on the existence and the mandate of the security organs, the approval of Parliament, and all the other stages that this thing has gone through. And therefore, when you say, and rubbish is actually the provisions of 238, 239, and 240, both in the involvement of the national security organs, the powers of the national security organs, and the approval of parliament. Yes, the judge has every right to make that decision. That is why I want to invoke this provision of reasonableness of judicial decisions. So that being the case, I want to conclude by saying this. That being the case, the judge has every right to make that decision. We respect it. Okay. But I have a fundamental problem with understanding the provision, the law that they applied in declaring this, and it's not tenable. It's not sustainable. Meaning it's a rubbish.
Let me help. Let me help you.
Just a minute.
I just need to help you.
I don't help me.
This time I'm not fighting you. I'm helping you. I'm guiding you.
Okay, I'm going to listen to this.
The most important thing that my uncle should do.
I thought I still have. No,
the most important thing that my uncle should do. And just listen to me, because when you talk about law and order, it is a national responsibility of each country to maintain its own national order. But that doesn't mean that if we've got some extradition treaties, we've got issues to do with international peacekeeping mission, we cannot develop a legal framework that will allow for a country to be able to send their internal peacekeeping organs to another country.
That is domestication of international treaties, a different aspect of the law.
Listen, no, it is not. It is not. What is there is this. If, for instance, because we are part of the United Nations, if the president wants to be able to make this thing kosher, right, what he needs to do, he needs to develop a legal framework that will respect extradition treaties and international peacekeeping missions. Because if, for instance, today, somebody is arrested in the US and they have to be extradited into this country, there is a treaty, there's an arrangement. So my advice to this government is this: just follow the law. If you want to be in good books with the UN, sit down with them, tell them, listen, this thing, you know very well that police, their specific role is to be able to maintain peace and order, law and order within the jurisdiction. So in this case,
let me hear from Fred. Fred, what's your take on this, and especially on those contentious issues about national forces versus national security organs?
Thank you, Sam.
I'm helping you.
Senator Ledama's uncle here has struggled to actually find the constitutional provisions that allow National Security Council to deploy National Police Service outside Kenya. That's what he was struggling to find. However, the provisions of law are explicit on who the National Security Council can deploy, and that person that may deploy is Kenya Defense Forces. The constitutional wording is National Forces or Kenya Defense Forces.
No, you can't choose which one. Which one? Look at the Constitution. Which one?
Uncle, please.
Constitution.
But I've helped
which one? National Forces.
National Forces. And what
was in?
Let's not play with the semantic.
What is the difference between forces and services?
Police, of course.
What Ledama's uncle is trying to tell us is that the National Police Service, which is a service today as per the new constitution, can actually be a force and can be compared to what the Kenya Defense Forces are doing. That is wrong. I agree with the petitioners, and actually I agree with the learned judge's decision, that the National Security Council can only deploy the approved deployment of the defense forces upon approval by the national, by the parliament. Let me just finish some, because I was quiet for quite some time.
That is a hollow interpretation of the law.
Then the other thing that our friends must agree, Haiti. He talks of reciprocal arrangements. Look at that country alone. A country that even killed their own president. A country that some of the officers who were serving in the security organs have now become criminals and are having more dangerous weapons. You want to take our police officers to that place so that they can be killed. We are saying that They have a right to appeal. They can appeal the decision. But the facts of the law remain as it is, even though they disagree with the interpretation of the judge. But we agree that the judge has done the right thing and has told them that that provision only allows National Security Council to deploy Kenya Defence Forces, not police service.
The provisions on reciprocating government found to be unconstitutional by the court. But I want to have the final word because the Chair of Foreign Affairs and Defence Relations, Article 243 of the Constitution, Article 3, it says that the National Police Service is a national service and shall function throughout Kenya. How is Haiti part of throughout Kenya? And secondly, the United Nations Security Council made an approval that the Kenyan mission would go there. So what happens? Because already there's a decision and an expectation. The courts have said, no, you won't go.
First, this question should have come before these two lawyers, but now since the time is out, I wanted to ask them, is it possible that the framers of the Constitution ascribed national force to only the national security organ, the KDF? Is it possible?
No, it's not. And that is not both in the letter and the spirit of the Constitution.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
So, and that is where we have a problem. Yeah. And that is what my colleague, Honorable Kainan, was trying to explain. But
so what's your comment to the National Police Service shall function throughout Kenya?
But we already have police officers, we already have members of the police who are out. You remember I've even given you an example of
which is okay.
Yeah.
I'm just illegal. Asking a question.
It is not illegal. We have more than 1,000 police officers doing peacekeeping mission outside this country as we are speaking.
Might that be irregular?
It is not irregular in any way. We've done it before in Yugoslavia. We've done the Deputy IG Gabo has been in so many missions
because you sit at the
as a police officer.
You sit at the lawmaking organ of the country. How does throughout Kenya mean Haiti?
It depends on what police service force. I mean, will you call the GSU, for instance, a police service? Let me just ask that.
Where does the Constitution categorize?
If Ledema today is in a Mandamano and he sees GSU, does he see a police service?
It's a police. It's part of the police. It's part of the police. And their police service. Come on.
So my issue, like I said, and you asked me a final question, what is the way forward? The way forward.
So GSU is under what force?
It is the National Police, but they are special force National Police Service.
How is there a force?
I'm saying, but there is certain training in the police that actually almost
those are skills.
Does not make them a service. And that is why I even use the example of anti-stock
So you're saying National Police Service is part of
even anti-stock theft unit is deployed. Do you call it a service?
Sorry.
For instance, in Capedo.
Don't argue the Constitution.
Police Service is part of the National Force.
It is something no. National Police. That's why I've asked you a question also. That did the framers of the Constitution ascribe to have only the National Defence Forces as a force?
What's your answer?
It's a question that the court should interpret. I find it objectively that for as long as they're using arms, it's a force.
Okay, right. That's your answer. So now, the United Nations Security Council has an expectation.
We will appeal. I mean, and I hope that the court will consider.
Can he listen to your question? Because that's an important question you're asking. And that is what I was trying to guide.
Well, you know,
no, how can you be a moderator?
How can you be a moderator?
I don't want to be assisted. Ask him that question. It's a good question.
You're saying the
government... He has taken over your role, eh?
Yes. No. It is important that we appeal. I mean, on a very serious note, Sam. We respect the court. There's only one way.
This son of mine is naughty.
There's only one way. You can't do it by force. A court has.
Is there a possibility to switch the deployment to a Kenya Defence Force?
That's up to the government to decide.
No, I think what is required.
Why the police? Why not defense?
No. I think you need to understand this. What that particular the multinational security support mission specifically talks about deployment of
the police, because we are dealing with gangs. And number two,
not military.
Just to allay fears of Olekina, Haiti is smaller than Kitui County. So that you don't...
And it has no government. Haiti has no government.
Imagine.
They have no parliament, they have no government, they have no president.
Now, unfortunately, your mics have been...
Sorry.
Senator Leda Molekina, Honorable Kenan, Fred Okango, and Honorable Nelson Koech. Thank you so much for making time for us of this conversation. They are saying the time is short. It's already past time. Thank you so much for watching. We continue the conversation on the show. Up next is Masa's Sporty Monday. I will be here to talk about a few things that are happening in the sports world. My name is Sam Gituku. See you again some other time. Bye for now.